Okay. So in full engagement of governments, what can be done? What should be done? Let's start with the...
And so from my perspective, I assume full engagement of government happens when you do great advocacy to assign some great people, I mean authorized people at the government level, and let them contribute toward the goals. Because unless you don't have those authorized people and do not let them know that this is emergency and we have this sort of commitment from you, to that commitment has to also communicate to the lower level. So we will not get the result. That is why for me, you have to mock up the authorized people as a focal person from the authority in the government for advocacy and for support commitment.
Yes, I think the important thing is to engage the government so that the responsible people within the government should take the lead and the ownership. And not only that, that would lead to further steps like resource mobilization and all those things. So that initiation should come from the government.
That the senior leadership will get engaged. So what is expected that regional directors, they will write letter to the health minister. It will be regional director of WHO as well as UNICEF. They will write a joint letter. And the advocacy will be from top level, including from foundation side and UNICEF, WHO, to engage the government, as well as rightly brought out by other two colleagues, that it has to be advocacy at the local level as well as to engage them. And what we expect, that's a minimum expectation from the government, is that government must, we should say, declare this outbreak as a public health emergency. Kenya is a good example.
From our reading of, myself and my colleagues, from our reading of the SOPs and from looking at reports and evaluation reports, etc., over the last couple of months, the role and responsibility of government is huge, and the engagement with government is huge. And looking at it separate from polio outbreak response, in any context, government has a critical role and a growing role.
Thank you. I think it's a concern or a challenge. I'll just raise it and then we'll see if you want to discuss later or now, but because it is related to the government issue. But there is a special situation now. In fact, again, it's personal, maybe but for all of us, like in Yemen now, there is the government, or maybe we can say two government, one legal, one illegal. And then we have the another side from outside, which is the Saudi-led coalition. And now it is the vaccine there inside the country is about now to be destroyed. Around $10 million of the vaccine to be destroyed at the central level and governorate level because of the power outages, because of the fuel shortages, very severe. Of course, we are not talking about the food, very severe food. So the situation is very catastrophe now. I'm just wondering about SOBs, what's to mandate GPE, and I think it's even beyond GPEI to go to the DG of WHO and UNICEF maybe.
Hi, Halima Dawa from UNICEF Wekaro. I was just going to say along the same lines in terms of having government early engagement, that perhaps there needs to be a mechanism for informing them early of these, that this is going on so that they have early information of SOPs and the need to keep all your friends, so on, so that they can be prepared. Because I'm concerned that they haven't been really involved in the dialogue so far, and if we don't inform them at least early on, that we may not have their full engagement. So perhaps that's a recommendation to the agencies. We'll discuss how, but I think it's really important to have them engage early on.
Now coming to your point, which is very important, that the communication to government should be made, and as you saw in the presentation, the first strategy was full engagement of government, whatever level of advocacy it takes. Whatever level of advocacy. If it means that Bill Gates may have to give a call, which happened in case of Central African outbreak, Cameroon, then Bill Gates gave the call. So whatever is needed to get the government on board will be done. Or it's mandated for the GPI It's a commitment by GPI for themselves that they will do this thing.